Something doesn't feel good on that left side, but
by the way,
Sunday's game changed in one moment. Aaron Rodgers grabbed his wrist, walked off the field, and never returned. Fans had no idea what they just saw, and the silence in the stadium said everything. Something happened out there that made people nervous, and now the whole league is on edge. What really happened to Rodgers?
something doesn't feel good on that left side, but
Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh brought immediate concern when Aaron Rodgers departed the field, clutching his left wrist. The 41-year-old quarterback absorbed multiple illegal hits during the Steelers' 34-12 victory over Cincinnati. Initial X-rays confirmed a small fracture. The veteran signal caller did not return to action. Pittsburgh maintained their AFC North lead at 6-4, despite losing their starter mid-game. The injury occurred during a first half that saw Rodgers take two separate roughing the passer penalties from Cincinnati defenders. Medical staff examined the wrist on the sideline before escorting Rodgers to the locker room. The Steelers announced the X-ray results shortly after halftime. Head coach Mike Tomlin confirmed Rodgers would undergo additional testing Monday to determine the full extent of the damage. Mason Rudolph entered the game and completed 12 of 16 passes for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. The backup quarterback had not attempted a regular season pass since Week 17 of the 2023 season. Rudolph's last start came during that same period when he filled in for an injured Kenny Pickett. His performance Sunday marked his first action with Pittsburgh since rejoining the organization this past offseason. The Steelers' offense managed 389 total yards against a Cincinnati defense that entered the game ranked 22nd in the league. Pittsburgh scored touchdowns on 3 consecutive possessions in the second half. Najee Harris rushed for 91 yards on 18 carries. George Pickens caught 6 passes for 83 yards. The offensive line surrendered only 1 sack after Rodgers departed. Pittsburgh's defense forced 3 turnovers and held Cincinnati to 267 total yards. Joe Burrow completed 25 of 38 passes for 309 yards with 2 interceptions. The Bengals managed just 58 rushing yards on 21 attempts. TJ Watt recorded 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble. Minkah Fitzpatrick intercepted Burrow in the third quarter. The victory kept Pittsburgh 1 game ahead of Baltimore in the AFC North standings. Ravens defeated Cleveland 16-23 Sunday to move to 5-5. Cincinnati dropped to 3-7 and now sits 3 games behind the division leaders. The Steelers hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over Baltimore after defeating them 17-10 in Week 5. Rodgers joined the Steelers in March after the organization traded a 2024 second-round pick and a 2025 conditional fourth-round pick to the New York Jets. The 4-time MVP threw for 2,145 yards with 15 touchdowns and 8 interceptions through 9 games. His completion percentage of 62.7 ranked 23rd among qualifying quarterbacks. The Steelers entered Sunday, averaging 21.3 points per game, placing them 18th in the league. The wrist injury represents the latest in a series of physical setbacks throughout Rodgers' 20-year career. He missed 7 games in 2013 after fracturing his left clavicle against Chicago. That injury occurred when Shea McClellan drove Rodgers into the turf at Lambeau Field. Rodgers returned for the regular season finale, but the Packers missed the playoffs with an 8-7-1 record. A similar collarbone fracture ended Rodgers' 2017 season after just 6 games. Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr tackled Rodgers awkwardly during a Week 6 matchup surgery, and rehabilitation kept Rodgers sidelined until Week 15. The Packers finished 7-9 and missed the postseason for the first time since 2008. Rodgers battled through a broken toe during the 2021 season that required pain management throughout Green Bay's playoff run. He disclosed the injury after Week 9 and wore a specially designed shoe to protect the foot. The Packers reached the divisional round before losing to San Francisco. Rodgers threw for 225 yards and no touchdowns in that defeat. The quarterback suffered a rib injury during the 2022 season that limited his mobility for several weeks. He played through the pain and started all 17 regular season games. Green Bay finished 8-9 and missed the playoffs. That marked Rodgers' final season with the Packers before his trade to New York. His tenure with the Jets lasted just 4 plays when Rodgers tore his left Achilles tendon on September 11, 2023. Aaron Donald's tackle during Monday Night Football ended Rodgers' season before it truly began. Surgery and 8 months of rehabilitation preceded his signing with Pittsburgh. The Steelers' medical staff will conduct an MRI Monday to assess ligament damage and bone displacement in the wrist. Dr. James Andrews, who performed Rodgers' Achilles surgery, may consult on the case. The team has not provided a timeline for Rodgers' return. Wrist fractures typically require 4 to 6 weeks of healing, depending on severity and location. Tomlin spoke briefly after the game about the injury situation. "We'll know more tomorrow after he gets looked at by specialists," Tomlin said. "Mason came in and did what we needed him to do. That's why we have him here." Rudolph has appeared in 24 career games with 10 starts. He threw for 2,089 yards with 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions during his time as Pittsburgh's backup from 2018 through 2023. The Oklahoma State product signed a 2-year contract worth $4.5 million in March. His deal included $1.2 million guaranteed. The quarterback originally entered the NFL as a third-round pick in the 2018 draft. Pittsburgh selected him with the 76th overall selection after he threw 92 touchdowns during 4 seasons at Oklahoma State. Rudolph spent his entire rookie season on the practice squad before Ben Roethlisberger's elbow injury in 2019 thrust him into action. He started 8 games that season and completed 62.2% of his passes. The team finished 8-8 and missed the playoffs. Rudolph's most productive season came in 2019 when he threw 13 touchdowns against 9 interceptions. He posted a quarterback rating of 82.0 across those 8 starts. The following year saw limited playing time as Roethlisberger returned to full health. Rudolph attempted just 81 passes combined in 2020 and 2021. His role remained strictly as an emergency backup during Pittsburgh's playoff appearances in both seasons. The 2022 campaign provided Rudolph with sporadic opportunities when rookie Kenny Pickett struggled with consistency. He completed 13 of 20 passes for 135 yards in relief appearances across 3 games. Pittsburgh released Rudolph after the season ended, and he signed with Tennessee. The Titans cut him during training camp. His return to Pittsburgh came after the organization traded for Rodgers and needed an experienced backup. The Steelers face Cleveland on Thursday night in their next game. The Browns currently sit at 2-8 after losing to Baltimore. Cleveland's defense ranks 5th in total yards allowed, but 28th in points surrendered. Deshaun Watson has thrown 7 touchdowns against 9 interceptions through 8 starts. The Browns' defense allows 223.4 passing yards per game, ranking 10th in the league. Their run defense permits 98.7 yards per contest. Pittsburgh's offense will need to adjust quickly if Rodgers cannot play. The short week provides limited preparation time for Rudolph to take first-team repetitions. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith must simplify the game plan while maintaining enough complexity to attack Cleveland's defense. The Steelers rank 12th in third down conversion rate at 41.2%. Smith installed a new offensive scheme after joining Pittsburgh from Atlanta in January. The system emphasizes play-action passing and outside zone running concepts. Baltimore plays Cincinnati on Thursday night in a game that could affect the division race. A Ravens victory would keep them within striking distance of Pittsburgh. Cleveland faces the Steelers twice in the final 7 weeks. The division schedule heavily influences playoff positioning entering December. Pittsburgh's remaining schedule includes games against Philadelphia, Kansas City, and Baltimore in the final month. Those matchups will determine home field advantage in the wildcard round. Rodgers' injury creates immediate questions about Pittsburgh's postseason viability. The team acquired him specifically to upgrade quarterback play and compete for a Super Bowl. His absence forces the Steelers to rely on a backup who has not started a meaningful game in nearly 2 years. Pittsburgh holds a 69.4% playoff probability according to ESPN's Football Power Index. That number could drop significantly if Rodgers misses extended time. The organization invested significant draft capital to secure Rodgers after Russell Wilson declined their contract offer. General Manager Omar Khan prioritized veteran quarterback play over developing a young prospect. That decision now faces scrutiny as the team navigates uncertain waters at the most important position. Khan's previous moves included trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick and signing free agent defenders. The Rodgers acquisition represented his most aggressive win-now maneuver since taking the general manager role in 2022.